Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Enderal. And today we're going to help the fine lady who should be possible to find right over in this cavern, which should be a ruin of the Starlings, if I have yet understood the lore correctly. This is a bed, which should be more than welcome. Then we can read that. Water breathing. Over here there's Death Spark. Oh, a steel sword. Blazing.
Shit! Get away from there! Now! By the prophet's ass, 1 second later and I would have been scraping your remains off the floor. What in blazes are you doing here anyway? Let's put it this way. I know how to hide when I don't want to be seen. And concerning the explosion, you stepped right into a Kiranian dust crystal. Get a little too close and wait a little too long, and you'll have your ass blown around your ears by an explosion that would put any cannon to shame. Lashiri? Oh my. The fellow really isn't one for names, is he? I'm Lashari, but never mind that. At least it proves you're not lying. Anyhow, I hope you're not the backup I asked for. I was hoping for someone more, impressive. No offense. Is that so? Indeed. You have some uncontrolled magic inside you. And quite a lot of uncontrolled magic. Not bad. I've never felt anything like this before. Very well.
I feel
Constantine
molested.
insists I will perform the ritual on you. But it'll have to wait, since I'm up to my neck in this shit, as you've probably noticed. Short version or long version? Which do you prefer? Fine. I suppose you already know that that is me, my assistant, 2 arcanists, and 4 keepers, are here to do research on, well, on something, which is exactly what we've done these past weeks. But, as I went upstairs to get something a couple hours ago, I suddenly heard screaming and the clanging of metal coming from downstairs. As I looked for cover, I saw these 2 shapes in red robes vanishing into the lower parts of the ruin. I have no idea who they are or why they're here, but to me, they look like mercenaries. Anyway, fact is, my esteemed Enderal colleagues and my assistant are still down there, together with our research, and I want them back. And before you ask, yes, you can help me. You'll have to, actually, if you want me to tame your magic. I wouldn't have a chance fighting the mercenaries by myself, but the 2 of us might be able to do it, provided you can defend yourself, which I'm quite sure you can. What do you say? Are you ready? No idea, but I don't think there are more than a dozen. Also, they don't anticipate any resistance, which is to our advantage. Oh, that's hard to explain. But part of it is finding the answer to the universal question. Why do some people... After we've cleaned up the mess, we can do this whole, who are you and what are you doing here thing if you want to. But this really isn't the time. Fine, then follow me. And keep your weapons ready.
We want to...
What in blazes are you doing here anyway?
What? Shit, you were right.
Just try. No. No. Oh, shit. Like the bicycle fleet.
Nomad, nomad, nomad. Ooh. No. We can get rid of those.
Sounds like a pig. Hang on. What's this? By the... Prophets, that... I don't believe it. They're orders. My assistant, Sev. It seems he's the reason these fuckers managed to take us by surprise. Save it for Sev when I shove this staff up his ass and fire a thunderbolt.
They don't seem to be too hard.
Shit, can you smell that? That's fire. We have to do something. You're adept at magic, right? If I'm right, the mercenaries are trying to destroy the stone fragments, and we have to stop them. You take the lower part, I'll take the upper part. And when... Oh. And one more thing. If you should find my assistant Sev down there, try to take him alive and bring him to me. I want to take care of him myself. Okay? Then let's... Going.
Now we can get in here.
Fucking piece of shit. You'll pay for that. Oh, Malthus, be praised! Hey, over here! Help me! Fucking piece of shit. You'll pay for that. What are you waiting for? Help me, damn it! Put out the fire!
Here.
You'll bleed for this, I swear it!
Damn, that was close. Fucking piece of shit. You'll pay for that.
You fucking scum! You'll pay for that! You'll
Oh god.
Just shit. You'll fucking burn for this, I swear. What the? What? What the? Where did he go?
Oh god.
What the? Where did he go? What the? Where did he go? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh my god.
Maybe not.
Oh god.
I'm Alpha, speak wise! Hey, over here! Help me!
You'll fucking burn for this, I swear.
What are you waiting for? Help me, damn it! Put out the fire!
Like the bite.
cabbage, carrots, and green apple.
What? Someone's there. Oh, shit.
And
You mean business, don't you? Alright then.
okay, we got that one. And let's go. Okay. Let's go. All of this is rather annoying to go through. Let's try and find everything that's possible. We got all of those. I'm not even sure if there was actually a time constraint. If yes, then it was probably much easier due to us not playing on the highest difficulty. We probably already got that one. Now that's one item. And there's a corpse. And we might take that. Then there's iron, blue quartz, another corpse, a dresser, health potion, we already took all of that stuff. Goblets. Scroll of Paralyze. Okay. Mercenary here. And then we got one corpse over here who has nothing of interest to us. And we continued up here with one mercenary here, another one, and then there's this gate, which we might unlock without wasting a lockpick. Oh god. Let's just ignore that. No, that's the right one. Okay. Defense rope. Fine steel. And there's another item. Now we might take that. And then let's check out this lower area here. Nothing here. We might consider going up here, taking that. Iron Claymore of Flames. Soul Eater Mace. I think that's probably very much worthwhile using. Teleport to Sun Temple. A chest with Dagger of Despair. 1 wine. Now we may go up here. Is that...
Well, I'll be damned. That's what I call good timing. I take
Let's
it you were
go.
successful? What about the fragments? Did you save them? All of them? Call me a pregnant Lyran. You really are good at what you do. What about Sev? Did you find him? Fuck. That little shit. I was Well, whatever. No use crying over spilt milk, I guess. What's your name, anyway? Amidst all this, we didn't have time for formalities. You're pleased? Well, that's good to... I actually had the feeling that I was a little rough on you. Sorry for that. Anyway, for starters, tell me how you manage... That doesn't happen very often. I've got time.
No.
Uh-huh. So, you're saying that you
No.
learned all this? The magic, the swordplay, and these visions? If I understand correctly, you foresaw the death of the two apothecary? It does indeed. But hey, who am I to judge? Here you are, the mysterious stranger who appeared. And even better, now you tell me that these skills come from studying magic for only a couple of weeks, and that you can see the future. You certainly are shit. Not you, sorry. I mean, but no, that would be crazy. Way too unlikely. Well, I'd like to speak freely, but I'm bound. However, I will tell Constantine and old Aranthiel about my theory. And you will probably have to be patient. then we'll be in a position to really kick ass. Anyway, hold still for a moment. Ready? Alright, let's do this. Don't worry, it'll just tickle a bit.
No.
Fuck! Are you alright? That wasn't on purpose. Really. Oh my, you really do. I have no idea what just happened. The ritual isn't exactly harmless, but normally you shouldn't. Maybe this has something to do with the strangeness of your aura. I already said this, but it's so different. It's hard to explain. Somehow complex and cold, maybe. But hey, I'm probably just out of practice. It worked, and that's what mattered. Your fever will now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even And now I suggest you return to Constantine. I will. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it. Well, put simply, they're supposed to protect us. But old Aranthiel will tell you more. Take care. Huh? Go see Constantine in Ark. I'll see you back at the temple.
Oh, I fucking hate that it's... Okay. We want... health.
Huh? Go see Constantine in Ark.
We want to use that. Go over here. And we got Thief Apprentice. Rapid Shot. That's a huge improvement. Now, here we are. And we get out of there. Now, I have no idea if it was a good thing to let that assistant of hers survive. But we are going to go over here now.
Still on the good to hear. Where to?
I don't know which one to go to exactly. But let's go.
Monsieur?
Yes, this is that one. I thought that it would be this. Now, Sun Temple.
Ah, there you are. Magister Karus has been looking for you.
Carus, this is...
Outside of there, is there anything? No.
Well met.
Now we may enter this and then talk to the old mage.
Yes.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well... Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit... But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest. Didn't I tell you that already? He's the highly esteemed, holy, grand master of the Order. Tilor Aranthiel, son of Lorius the First, praised be his name. An old legend, risen from the dead, or something like that. In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Ah yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies?
Should we take the the book? Overall a good idea. The treasure map. Oh God. I think. Come
Very
on,
well.
let's
Now,
get
I'm
it.
sure we'll talk again later. Ah, that's hard to tell. Most of the time I was with Narethzul's order in the Kabet Mountains. But when I was... Which idiots did you have the misfortune to be raised by? The foolhardy rebels up north? The bootlicking pawns of the Chancellor in the Middle Realm? Or the fanatic, mask-wearing cultist oafs down south? Ostian, I see. A beautiful piece of earth, actually. But these sodding cultists and their creator have done their best to make... Truth be told, it was them who made me join Narethzul's fight against religion back in the days. I was a young traveling arcanist then, and wanted to make some money in Ostian's arena. Fight some rabid animals. I had heard a lot about Nerim's south, and imagined a place at the pulse of life. But you know who greeted me when I reached the city gate? Corpses. They burnt their skin off, and then nailed them to crosses. There were at least 50. It was atrocious. The smell of burnt meat everywhere. The screams of those who still lived, and all of it only because... Well, that was when I declared war on religion. I was so sick of seeing people cutting each other's throats, only because they project their own personal problems into some... And that's not even the worst part. They're beyond... Because my God told me to. What's left to say there? This is why this place makes me sick. We need the Order's manpower. They need our knowledge, but philosophy and freedom of thought are nowhere to be found. It's pathetic. On the one hand, yes, a happy person will most likely never become a murderer, no matter if he or she follows the teachings of this. But if something happens to this person, hunger, fear, what is religion after all? It's a guide to live life, a set of values. And even if it's just one line in the Holy Scripture that says, kill the if you want a justification to spill blood, you will find it. If your religion... there's a lot of discussion about that on Kira, and it drives me mad to hear people prattling on about how it's all a matter of interpreting the script. Blazes, if your ideology is so peaceful, why does it say, slayeth this, slayeth that, rather than just get along? Yes, go on, try to justify a massacre like the one in Ostian with a respect those around you, and killing is bad regardless of the motives. Good luck. Especially if people don't keep to themselves with it. Oh, do you really need me to answer that? Just take a look around. There are all sorts of great historical writings on us here. We're a bunch of bloodthirsty heretics who gloriously defeated us in the Battle of Zaramar. Naratzul was locked into an old tower, and those have since then terrorized and plotted against the poor people of the civilized world by all means necessary. Oh, and did I forget to mention that we eat babies for breakfast? Well, now I have. Sorry. I suppose I just shouldn't have read that much Enderalian literature on the subject. If there's someone who deserves an award for biased misrepresentation of the facts, it's the buffoons who... Oh, don't tell Lucy that. Altogether it's her, Yuslan, me. Yuslan is probably the most gifted entropist of the civilized world, and I doubt there's anyone who knows more about the Pyreans than Lucy.
Now, that was quite a bit. And now we might go and meet the Grand Master. And then we might
Yes.
continue on.
Walk blast.
Now in there. And
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't...
I absolutely do.
And to send an entire division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This pagan said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Tilor, back then in Kira, and we all know...
The mission will happen. I'm sorry.
You have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. I am Teolar Aranthia, son of Lorius I and Grand Master of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name? Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I. I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthial. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me. Good question. Because at the moment stability is the highest good. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos. Enderal is the cradle of the order of the gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors. I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change. But for now, it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind. There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story which we won't discuss now. Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time.
Dreams.
I always saw the same blaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. And he said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory. A collective subconscious, yes. I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers. The Pyreans. 3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Be hundreds, maybe thousands. Second,
I accidentally
the history
had
of
caps
each
lock
civilization
on.
unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns. Yes, dramatically put, they're the envoys of the end. I see why you would say that, and I've felt the same way for a very long time. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The 2 castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak. That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least, even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin. When the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet. It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly. I do not know. Firespark the Mage has told me your story. And even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, so maybe everyone can become an emissary. Or we simply have not understood the pattern yet. Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself. No, as I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help. That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die? If it is wealth and power you seek, you will have it. The Order has enough of both. Hollow words. Deep inside, you know your responsibility. Trust me, we are more... Very well. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. But there came... We began... And then, just like that, the Pyreans... Well... This is the... Well... Have you made your decision? Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our Order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial. It is. Whatever you think about our story, we are the only faction that is strong enough to oppose the cycle. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have... There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Neremese mages. Consider it an honor or a necessity. It is up to you. It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival. I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see, I had a hunch. Let us leave it at that. At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take them... Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but I do not believe you can do any real harm. But in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter. If and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
Okay. We have gotten a new quest.
This is holy ground, Outlander.
And I would say... Let's head out here. Oh. Wasn't that the mage? That was the mage. That was the mage.
Huh? Now look at that. Someone who's actually interested in us as people, rather than in our knowledge about the Pyreans. But it's your lucky day. Arizalian Brandy. Vintage 8214. What do you say? Alright then.
Let's get hammered.
When I hear you say that, I don't regret for a second that I never came back to Ostian. Even though I've thought about it from time to time. Wow! Finally, someone who says it up front. Yeah, I've got some Scarag blood in me, though comparably little in regards to how much it shows. My grandfather, he used to serve in the South Realms Marines. And one day they captured a ship of Scarag raiders, some of them women. Stories say he fell in love with one of them. You can connect the dots. But to answer your original... Though we fled the city around 10 years ago, The right choice, as I probably... The temple was always a bunch of fanatical fuckheads, but that bastard High Priest Janus gave the word butcher an entirely new meaning. I know, and nah, I hardly know anything about her. Only that they were raiders and that she fled about 2 years after... You should have seen how people reacted to the way I looked. Even as a kid, they always looked at me and my almond-shaped eyes as if they were expecting me to pull out a skull fetish any second and start putting curses on anyone in the vicinity.
Well, that's just how he is. Always talking.
True words. Warriors of the Creator. War against the infidels. The Creator's children don't even sugarcoat how radical their faith is anymore. And still, so many people join their ranks. It's fucking insane. But then again, I guess that's religion for you. Don't think for yourself anymore. Let someone else do it for you. At least it was for my brother. I had. He was about 15 years older than me, and was always a troubled child. Rakul. That was his name. Drapers for generations. The best in Ostian. I suppose that's why my father expected so much from Rakul, since I, as a woman, wouldn't have been allowed to take over the business when my... But Rakul, he just wasn't made out for it, you know? He was shy and introverted, and never had a hand... I can't remember how often father told him that he was a disgrace to the family. You can call it that, yes. Looking back, I think the temple only gave him what father wouldn't. He spent almost all of his time in the temple after his conversion, and knew the entire Rania, their holy scripture. Well, in one day, he announced that simply attending the masses wasn't enough anymore. He would join the temple's warriors. Damn right. That's what these bastards do. They exploit the vulnerability of people like him. And once that's done, they send them to fight for their holy causes. In other words, their own interests, like pawns on a chessboard. And if they die, then they... I'm sorry, my dame. Your youngest son just died. But don't worry, he's in a better place now, eating grapes and drinking honey. Now, do you have any other neglected children for us? We're run... Damn it, I hate those bastards. I just hate them so much. He was slaughtered, hacked into pieces by Chancellor Baratheon's... That was before the peace treaty. I'd be surprised if they taught him what end of a lance to stab with before they sent him into the field. But, well, I guess that answers the question you asked me up in the temple, doesn't it? I was sick of seeing people using Creator, Lightborn, the Great Spirit. Same shit, different name. And you know what? No matter how much chaos the death of the gods caused, I don't regret being a part of it. Anyway, it was good talking to you, but I'm dying for a nap. Take care.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. Oh god. Yeah.
Hymn of the Desert King. Dark as the sun.
Adreu Dal Myth. Lyrical outpours and other fluids. Wild poetry presented by the poet. Noon until night in the upper quarters. And that's still Lord Byron. Ooh, pretty statue. But I would say that's the end of this episode. Goodbye, have a great time, please like and subscribe, and see you next one.